Tonight, on To the Point. President Trump marks 100 days of his second term.
And we're here tonight in the heartland of our nation to celebrate the most successful first 100 days of any administration.
As he touts his administration's success, what new polls are saying about Trump's performance. Plus, a bill meant to crack down on sex trafficking minors passes a key committee. Why it's not without changes and backlash. Highlands Community Charter and Technical Schools announces hundreds of layoffs. What we're learning following an ABC 10 investigation. And later, a controversial chemical ban could be lifted. Tonight, why veterans are taking a stand against it.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on To the Point. I'm Alex Bell. Tonight, President Donald Trump is marking his first 100 days back in office. The president started his second term in January with a fury of executive orders. In just 100 days, he's issued more than 140, touching nearly every corner of American life, from tariffs, education, border security to energy policy and election law. Trump, alongside Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, have also overhauled how the federal government operates, shrinking the size of the federal workforce and cutting back on government spending. Now, the president marked his 100 days today with a rally in Michigan where he touted his administration's success. Trump says that he's looking forward to the rest of his term and also has some big plans. Take a listen.
In the coming weeks and months, we will pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and that will include no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill, and it will be the biggest bill ever passed in our country's history. It will include the biggest tax cuts, regulation cuts, military supremacy, and just about everything else. We will cut more than $1 trillion in wasteful and unnecessary spending.
This announcement comes as new polling suggests Trump's approval rating is hitting an all-time low at 39%. Melissa Don has more details tonight.
President Trump in Michigan marking his 100 days in office of his second administration, visiting the troops at an Air National Guard base along with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. And tonight at a rally in Ann Arbor touting tariff relief for American automakers and immigration reform.
And it's all just kicking in. And week by week, we're ending illegal immigration. We're taking back our jobs and protecting our great American auto workers and all of our workers, frankly.
Trump working to deliver on what was promised on the campaign trail. On immigration reform, ICE has conducted raids across the country, and DOGE has taken a chainsaw to the federal government workforce. Today, all three major indexes finishing higher after the White House announced tariff relief. An administration official tells ABC News the president will ease some tariffs around auto imports, specifically foreign auto parts used in domestically manufactured vehicles.
I've just signed an executive order to give partial tariff rebates to any company that assembles its cars right here in the U.S.
In the latest ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll, 73% of those polled say the economy is in bad shape. In an exclusive interview with ABC News anchor and senior national correspondent Terry Moran, President Trump defending the economy.
Since I came in, gasoline is down, groceries are down, egg prices are down. Many things are down, just about everything. You know, you don't have the drop in fuel and energy and oil like we did. I took it from maybe $3.20, maybe more than that, down into a much lower number. When you have that kind of a drop, you're not going to have inflation.
You can watch President Trump's Oval Office interview with ABC News at 8 p.m. right here on ABC 10, and you can stream it for free on the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app at 9 p.m. The app is completely free to download to your TV. And new tonight, California, along with other states, are now suing the Trump administration over recent cuts to AmeriCorps. The complaint argues that by canceling critical grants and gutting the AmeriCorps workforce, the Trump administration is effectively closing the National Volunteer Agency and ending states' abilities to support programs within their borders.
Trump and Elon Musk are attempting to cancel $400 million in grants, accounting for more than 40% of the agency's budget and firing or putting on leave 85% of its workforce, effectively incapacitating an agency created and funded by Congress. The reality is Trump and Elon Musk don't have the right to gut AmeriCorps. They don't have the right to override Congress's decision to create and fund the agency.
In 2024 alone, more than 6,000 AmeriCorps members served across California communities and schools, homeless shelters, health clinics, and other nonprofit organizations. A controversial bill addressing selling minors for sex just took its next steps forward, but it's not without its hurdles. As ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen found out, the bill's author says the way it passed today does not address an ongoing issue of minors being purchased for sex.
Alex, Assembly Bill 379 is known as the Survivor Support and Demand Reduction Act. It passed in the Assembly Public Safety Committee this morning after being amended. Its author, Assemblymember Maggie Krell, says she disagrees with the changes because it removed a portion that would have made it a felony to buy a 16 or 17-year-old for sex. Those in support of this new version say there's a reason for that.
Targeting the buyers, because that's who's fueling the sex trafficking industry.
Democratic Assemblymember Maggie Krell says her bill, AB 379, is aimed at protecting victims of sex trafficking. If it becomes law, it would dedicate funding to support survivors and law enforcement to prosecute sex buyers. It also initially made it a felony to solicit sex from minors ages 16 to 17. Even though the bill has bipartisan support, not all were on board with the bill in its original form.
The only way I was able to get it back on the calendar was to take an amendment that took out a key provision of the bill.
The portion of the bill addressing soliciting sex from a minor between ages 16 and 17 was removed, drawing criticism from Republican Assemblymember Tom Lackey.
Your original proposal was also to include protecting 16 and 17-year-old victims from these predators. For some reason, it was believed that it was inappropriate to proceed with that tenet.
Those in support of the changes say it could have criminalized teens in consensual relationships.
There were a lot of youth advocates and activists who were concerned about the way that automatic felonies levied against older teens in relationships with other minors.
Rights for Girls is a nonprofit aimed at protecting vulnerable girls and women. The organization disagreed with the change.
There is no scenario that we can think of where teenagers are engaging in a financial transaction. Or that prosecutors would waste their time going after teenagers who engage in consensual relationships.
Hours after the amended bill passed the Assembly Public Safety Committee, Governor Gavin Newsom released a statement saying, quote, "The law should treat all sex predators who solicit minors the same, as a felony, regardless of the intended victim's age. Full stop."
The bill now moves on to the Appropriations Committee. In response to the governor's comment, Assemblymember Krell says children purchased for sex are victims and those who knowingly purchase them should be charged with felonies. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. New tonight, Highlands Community Charter and Technical Schools. The focus of ABC 10's two-year investigation, the Wild West of Education, is drastically downsizing, laying off a majority of its staff. ABC 10 investigative reporter Andy Judson joins us live in studio tonight with the latest.
Yeah, Alex, from staff to students, Highlands is undergoing major changes. The school's cutting over 87% of its workforce, board records show, going from around 715 full and part-time employees to just 94. The layoffs are a result of the school scaling its student population way back from over 13,000 adult students to just 3,300. And this is just the latest fallout for Highlands. The charter school recently admitted to attendance errors, saying they'll pay back the state nearly $13 million, and that's just for one school year. Recordings and documents show multiple agencies are now taking action, including the California Department of Education, the Commission on Teacher Credentialing, and the school's own oversight agency, Twin Rivers Unified. And this is all happening before a state audit sparked by our reporting that has yet to be released. That audit is expected to be published in the coming months. And we asked both Highlands and Twin Rivers Unified for comment on the layoffs, but neither responded. Alex.
All right, Andy, thank you so much. And you can watch Andy's full investigation, The Wild West of Education, right now on our ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. Still ahead on To the Point, AI meets government, how California is using the technology to transform public service.
And it was a warm day out there. Today made it to 84 downtown, 84 in Stockton, 83 Modesto. We're back in the 80s tomorrow, but we've got another chance of thunderstorms up in the high country forecast after the break.
Plus, a controversial chemical ban faces challenges in Congress. Why veterans and experts say it's a matter of life or death. Welcome back. Let's take a live look over downtown Sacramento. Temperatures are finally starting to warm up again. Meteorologist Brendan Minchef joins us tonight with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we made it to 84 in downtown today. In fact, most of the valley was in those middle 80s. That's where we'll be again tomorrow. We also had some thunderstorms up in the Sierra. We still do up near Quincy, up there near Plumas County at the moment. We also had some in the Tahoe area, but now those are just some showers. You see this one south of Highway 4, and it was a thunderstorm, but that lightning has since come to an end. Over the next hour or so, we'll continue to have some showers before that activity winds down for the day. Temperatures at the moment, 82 in Sacramento, 80 in Marysville, 84 Colusa, 83 in Stockton, 81 Modesto, 73 Jackson, 72 in Auburn, 61 Truckee, and 59 in South Lake Tahoe. As we go through the rest of this evening, we'll be dropping into those 60s. We also have some clouds for now. That'll continue through the overnight as well. Just some clouds out there before it clears as we go through the daytime tomorrow. So starting off in those low to mid 50s. And then by the time we get into the afternoon, we're going to be in those mid 80s. The peak of the heat is likely for tomorrow, even closer to 90 for some areas in the upper Sacramento Valley. So we look at Futurecast, you see those clouds through the overnight hours, clearing as we go through the morning. And then once we get into the early afternoon, we'll start to see some pop-up showers. Those become some pop-up thunderstorms as we go 3, 4 o'clock. And I think mainly south of US 50 tomorrow is where we're going to see the bulk of that thunderstorm activity. And this is going to try to drop down into the foothills as well. So the Mother Lode and Highway 49 could get in on some thunderstorm activity Wednesday afternoon. It's thanks to this low pressure in the Mountain West, but then this high pressure builds in, so we're going to see warmer temperatures for Wednesday and Thursday before it moves out and low pressure returns. So we're looking at cooler temperatures, a chance of showers on Saturday, and then we're back in the 80s next week, Alex.
Next on To The Point, California is betting big on AI, how the state is using it to improve everything from traffic to taxes, plus cracking down on DUIs. A new bill could require first-time offenders to install breathalyzers, while lawmakers say it could save lives and critics say it goes too far. Tonight, California is taking a big step into the AI era. Governor Gavin Newsom announced today that new generative AI technologies are now being deployed across state government with the goal of making services faster, safer, and more efficient. ABC 10's Luke Cleary explains.
California is rolling out new artificial intelligence projects aimed at cutting traffic congestion and improving road safety, among other things. Part of a broader push to modernize state government, according to Governor Gavin Newsom.
Nothing is happening in the United States of America at the scale and scope that is happening here in the state of California.
At Caltrans, AI tools are being used to analyze traffic patterns, identify bottlenecks, and predict where accidents are likely to happen. And at the Department of Tax and Fee Administration, a new AI system is helping staff handle taxpayer questions faster, reducing the need for extra workers during peak filing season.
There's no doubt that we can find use cases where it can help the government.
Dr. Vladimir Filkov, a professor at UC Davis and leading AI researcher, says generative AI holds great promise, but it must be deployed with safety, service quality, and workforce education in mind.
This technology is the best new thing since sliced bread. How do we use it in a way that not just it can help, it also leaves no doubt that it's helping rather than harming us?
Filkov says he's surprised how fast the state is moving.
But we have to put this into the context of, do we trust this technology enough? And are there enough guardrails put around this, especially as we are rolling it out so it interacts with people, so it interacts with our critical infrastructure? And I'm not so sure.
For now, California is moving forward, betting that AI can make government faster and more effective without losing the human touch. In Sacramento, Luke Clary, ABC 10.
The state says it's also working to set guardrails around the new technology, including new rules aimed at combating deep fakes and protecting digital privacy. A new bill looks to mandate in-car breathalyzers for first-time DUI offenders. AB 366 would establish a requirement to install ignition interlock devices in cars for repeat offenders and would also mandate them for first-time offenders. ABC 10 spoke with a father who lost both of his kids in a car accident. He says he wants to prevent anyone from being in the same position.
The woman who killed my kids, if her car had an interlock, and it should have, she was a repeat offender, an interlock device would have saved her, would have saved her family, would have kept her out of prison, and would have kept my children alive.
Advocates have tried to pass this requirement for 17 years. The California Public Defenders Association opposes the bill, saying it puts a disproportionate burden on low-income Californians to front the cost. The bill will be heard in the Assembly Appropriations Committee next. Congress could soon move forward with reversing a ban on a chemical linked to cancer and neurological diseases such as Parkinson's disease. The chemical in question has been widely used at military bases, and some lawmakers say banning it would hurt industries in states where it's produced. Monica Robbins reports on a group of veterans who are now fighting to keep that ban in place.
Sarah Whittingham, Jana Reed, and Erica Nitsky, two physicians and an aerospace engineer, all graduates of the Air Force Academy, who all served at least a decade, including tours in Afghanistan. All three young mothers, and all three diagnosed with Parkinson's disease they believe is linked to their military service.
Parkinson's disease is overwhelmingly due to chemicals in our food, water, and air. The most important cause of Parkinson's disease in the United States is likely these two chemicals, trichloroethylene and perchloroethylene.
Also known as TCE and PCE, and used for dry cleaning, manufacturing, and degreasing machines. The EPA banned the chemicals in December, but now it's paused until May, as Republicans in both the House and Senate introduced resolutions to repeal it.
This is a chemical that we know causes harm to people with Parkinson's. It causes Parkinson's disease, cancer, and all sorts of other potentially birth defects and other badness. And for Congress and our politicians to say that industry is more important than the health of our service members, it makes me sick.
According to the nonprofit Environmental Working Group, TCE got into the drinking water of more than 17 million Americans, including military bases like Camp Lejeune, where by the government's own estimate, 1 million military and civilian staff and their families were exposed.
Everybody is exposed to this water. It doesn't differentiate between people. So everyone should be afraid of this and want to do everything they can to ban it.
The women are on a mission to raise awareness and convince Congress to let the ban stand. They've changed as parents, too.
To see Congress not prioritize the health of our service members makes me wonder what else they will put in front, ahead of the health of our service members. So yes, I have discouraged my daughter from going into the military for that reason.
To repeal the ban on TCE is just, I think we're, if we were to do that, we're just kicking the can down the road, and the amount of money that it's going to end up costing later on is going to be so exorbitant that it does not make sense.
If Congress were to repeal the ban, the EPA would have to go back to square one and approve the same health dangers all over again. But even then, that wouldn't immediately stop the chemical from being used unless the court steps in. Stay with us. We're back after this break. A long overdue recognition for a group of women who served our nation during World War II. Today, Congress awarded the Congressional Gold Medal to the 688, the only all-black, all-female unit to serve in Europe during World War II. The battalion of 855 women cleared a massive male backlog, boosting troop morale and breaking barriers in a segregated military. Just 2 members are still living. A monument honoring the women was placed at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, back in 2018. As always, thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If you have something that you think me and the team should be looking into, please email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.